welcome to ETW.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be
Everyone.
here. Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Let's talk about soul, the stuff that feeds our soul.
Ah,
It's my
it's a
favorite
great
thing.
that's a great topic. It's also a topic that could go on forever. Well,
Yeah.
it has done already. But yeah, I wanted to talk about soul goals to share it with people actually in the Fireball course as well. So I think, we talked a lot about soul and soul goals so much that it feels very normal now to us. But, how can we explain a bit more? Sometimes I think, okay, a goal that comes from the heart, but what would you describe it as to you?
I think it goes back to remembering who we were as little kids, and kind of shedding all of the responsibility and all of the obligations and all of the culture that we live in right now. Just like block it all out and remember that time when we were kids and we would dream of what we wanted to do when we grew up, and we were curious about things and we asked endless questions and didn't have any sense of self-judgment or criticism or asking too much or demanding too much. Like kids, they just ask for what they want, ask for what they need. And so I go back to that time and remember, my love of art, my love of nature, music, um, laughter, all that stuff. And as an adult now, stepping right back into that time, but as an adult, and paying super close attention to my energy level and how I respond when I'm in different situations, or engaging in a conversation with someone, or engaging out in nature, or when I completely lose my sense of time when I'm painting or listening to music, or how music can just shift my emotional range just with the different style, or anything that like lights me up again and gets me all excited
Yeah.
and alive. Those are soul things.
Yeah, because it feels very easy now to. Well, I think the more you open doors like self awareness, that you can feel it instantly. You can feel if
Yeah.
something has that like electricity inside you versus, to be honest, if I now think back years and years ago to anything that I was supposed to do, or that I should do, it feels like I can actually, like, if I'd had the self awareness, I could have actually detected the pullback straight away and said, "Hang on a minute, this is something that pulls me back," and I've just said yes to it to probably satisfy someone, but
Right.
I actually instantly, well, my body probably knew that wasn't a good thing for me, but
Yeah.
a lot of the times, like you say, we kind of ignore it with society rules and everything, and what we think we're supposed to do and we should do. But for me, like, this is a super important topic, especially for the 10x Fireball course, because um, the worst thing I can possibly imagine is someone goes. Well, not the worst thing, but if you go in the wrong direction, you can go in the wrong direction for years, and then actually achieve your goal and think, why the hell did I do that? I'm not even happy. Like, I got a sudden burst of happiness maybe, but realize it didn't last long, and then kind of have to go back to square one. I think entrepreneurs always tell the same story of, like, they sell their business and then they just assumed it would be this, like, I'm going to travel and be happy and retire and forever. But I think quickly they need to find the next thing that lights them up. Like, it doesn't mean
Yeah.
forever happiness, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when I think of how we're born, how we come into the world, it's more of like the pure soul of a human being. And as we grow up, it's like those boulders and layers kind of layer up and suppress, we repress, we people please, we do the shoulds and the coulds and check off all the boxes and pats on the back for the achievements, and don't stop to question, to look inside or have that self-awareness of is happiness this fleeting thing that I'm going to chase that's attached to the things I'm supposed to do in my culture, or my or is it something that comes from within that allows me to dissolve all those layers. And I feel like the more I step into soul work, the things that allow time to fall away, and just living in the present. I think that's what it is for me, is to live in the present and not have any of the cultural teachings, how we're taught to be, how we're taught to be almost self-sacrificial at times, and
Yeah.
compromise ourselves and our needs and our wants and our desires and the things that light us up to fit into certain different molds of how we're taught to be, what's appropriate, what's well mannered, what's respectable, what's this, what's success, what's worthy. And to blow all that up, like that's what I'm living my life doing right now, is to blow up all the stigmas, all of the those boulders that kept that little pure soul um, kind of lost or captive for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like, so you talk about a lot of rules, right? And I
Yeah.
think, I always remember doing the exercise of looking at every area of your life. I think it came from that Not Nice book right there. And Not Nice, Not Nice is actually it's funny actually, because this is a great book, so it's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
It's a huge one, but there's lots of exercises in here, and it says stop people pleasing, staying silent, feeling guilty, start speaking up, saying no, asking boldly, and unapologetically being yourself.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
exactly everything we're talking about. And there was this powerful exercise about all of the rules, like writing down the rules of every different area of your life. And I always remember that, because I thought, oh, okay, relationships. So like start writing down my journal, and then work rules and home rules, like what I should do, like to load the dishwasher. We talked about before the rules around loading the dishwasher, the rules around going out for dinner and how we should sit, and the layout of our cutlery and everything. I'm not judging anything as good or bad, and I'm
Right.
just asking to say, like, when you take a total look at all of the rules in your life and you write them down, I was devastated how big that list was. I thought for one category I was going to write maybe 3 or 4 things, and I filled up like a page or two for every single category. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
I
need to
believe it.
stop because there's so many here. And then you got
Yeah.
to go back and review the super powerful where they came
Yeah.
from, like
Right.
who who taught you them, and
Right.
do they still serve you? Like rewriting your new set of rules. So some rules are great, but they have to
Yeah.
serve you from the soul, right?
Yeah, I think for me, I like to learn the rules so that I can then break them or know which ones to break, because if it doesn't serve me to serve others to the highest
Yeah,
good, then, you know, or if it just doesn't make sense, or it just wastes time that could be spent doing more fulfilling things. Because I think the goal is to find that sustainable foundation of joy and the ability to tap into being fulfilled and at peace and not like wanting, in this world where we're blown up with advertisements, and you need this shiny object and this shiny object, and you need clean perfect skin to be beautiful, and you need this and you need that, and to just say stop.
yeah,
I just I have everything I need right now. um and so gratitude comes in too, my other favorite topic. But
yeah,
um you know it's the soul activities that help. The more I practice them, the more I engage in them, the more I'm able to like solidify into this foundation of that abundant feeling of having everything I need right now, right in this moment, and not lacking for anything. And I think the more time we can spend in that headspace, the more it becomes, the reality on a consistent daily basis. And the more you can
yeah,
recognize like the energy level associated with different people, different conversations, different activities, all of that, and how to have boundary lines around the things that don't serve you, and that you can cut the cord. I think the hardest one is in people, relationships, feeling obligated to be friends with someone who, you may have outgrown, or who actually is critical in those really passive aggressive ways. How do you just cut ties to preserve that atmosphere where you can nurture the soul in a way that you thrive? And
Yeah.
that's been my focus for definitely these last 8 months, I'd say, if not a year.
Well, and it changes everything. Like for you, the last few months have been insane, and but you've made the changes inside to
Yeah,
actually, like, you're creating this, and you're so much more in tune, like with its soul, or with your spirit inside. Like for me, I think about it as like, I don't listen to my mind too much these days. Like
right.
my thoughts, I watch them go around all the time, but when it comes to actually what I should do and take action, and listen to my body and whatever kind of lights me up inside, and it's like an electricity inside you. And when you get better at kind of feeling it, then it's gold. Like, I literally kind of make decisions now on, like, so I want to sign up to a new class. I just feel if there's the electricity inside that will tell
Yeah,
me that, even though I might be worried about it, or, like, nervous of going into a new class, new group of people, like, as long as the electricity is electric excitement nerves, rather than being overrun with fear and talking myself out of it,
right.
like, my body will tell me it's a good thing.
Yeah, and that's the amazing thing. I think we were talking about, what was it, mind, body, spirit, heart, and
Yeah,
how much we live in a culture that celebrates just mind and rational, logical. And of course, there's value in that. But for me personally, when I listen to my heart and let that lead, and my spirit, the intuition, like it is not steering me wrong. And I feel like I am just growing into who I've you know always meant to be in these last 4 or 5 months, especially,
yeah,
because I am so tuned into that electricity inside. And when it's not there, that's what I question. Why isn't it there, and what am I doing that doesn't feel right? And you know become more sensitive to, like, my tolerance for not feeling right is decreasing, which is great because it enables me to make decisions more clearly in a way that helps me become the best version of myself, so I can bring my best self to the table. For my kids to see me lit up with sunshine and happiness and joy on a daily basis is crazy. Like, that does more good for them than trying to cook organic food, which is not in my zone of genius at all. But
yeah. Well, I think that's huge. Is in the past versions of us would try to impress and look after our kids in those kind of rules and society ways, but
yeah,
there's a way of, it's almost the opposite way around now. When you go inside and you're following your dreams as a parent to our kids, then they feed off that unbelievably. Like, they
yeah,
can feel the energy. You don't have to impress them with, you know buying them the latest iPhone or whatever.
right, right,
I get it, but
right.
you know
It's that ripple effect of contagious energy that, I think when children see us stepping into our dreams in a way that benefits them and, like, brings them into the circle, it gives them
yeah,
that freedom of thought and ability to think outside the box too, and think, well, if my mom's doing it or my dad's doing it, then I can do anything. And I think hanging on to that belief in just chasing your dreams that you can do anything is really, really powerful. They don't teach that in
yeah,
school. They don't teach that
yeah,
in culture. Um, or if it does, it's all talk, and then all the actions are completely contradictory.
yeah. And do you find, like, if you take the old version of you and the new version of you, where you're now so in tune with that soul? I mean, you probably were before, but maybe it was shut off. But do you find? I mean, almost forgot my question. Do you find, like, you are able to create more and more freedom, and, like, with the open soul version of you?
Absolutely. I mean, I think freedom is it's one of my key words. I have favorite words, and freedom is absolutely a driving force in that. And it's that spiritual freedom inside of being cracked open to the world and seeing it, like seeing the beauty in it and the magic in it and the silver linings in it, and no longer, like, I think when you look through a lens where your focus is magnified, I think that's true of what, if we look at bad things, negativity in the world, like it gets magnified, it grows bigger, it sucks us in, and we go right into that negativity. I'm very sensitive to that. And so
Yeah.
freedom for me is choosing to cultivate an atmosphere for my family and my kids where, that critic is turned off from, just judgment, and it fosters and creates that sense of freedom that everybody wants and needs, that nobody thrives being judged or criticized or told they're doing it wrong, and or told they have to do it this way. I mean, that's not a powerful motivator at all. It's never been
Yeah.
for me. Like,
Yeah.
I dig my heels in and no, so I think cultivating and creating that atmosphere where people can thrive and feel free, it just, you can't go wrong. So that's where my focus is for sure these days, as a mother, and as
Yeah.
a friend, and as a person in the business world, and as a person just focusing on anything that's going to enable people to feel free, like free in their relationship with me, free in the way that I accept people and love people for who they are, and what happens when you give that to people.
Perfect. So
Yeah.
to kind of summarize up in the spirit of setting goals, or in the topic of setting
Yeah.
goals specifically, what would you say are the main things to watch out for, the key points of someone, I have a goal that's going to take me 2 or 3 years, like starting a business, selling my business. How would you detect whether it is truly aligned to you? It's kind of this soul, heart goal,
Yeah, for me,
purpose driven.
yeah, all I can do is talk about my own experience. And for that, I have to like remove any timeline from it and allow like things to go much, much faster, and not lock into anything. I do need goals. Like, I think, as we've talked about, writing is a huge piece of it. And having a place to capture all my thoughts freely, all my dreams freely, all of my self-analysis and self-development stuff freely, so that I can flesh out all of the ideas that come forth and see what really, it's the things that repeat, that keep cropping up, and there's a pattern of like this idea, it just keeps nudging, it keeps pushing, it keeps wanting to come to, and
Right.
that those are the ones that I'm like, okay, let's make that thing that keeps resurfacing into a real goal, and then create those actions to start kicking the bucket forward, little steps every single day for these things that are really pulling me forward. So I think being sensitive to what pulls, what keeps resurfacing and popping up, and allowing that to guide and dictate the goals, the actions, the forward movement and forward thinking required to bring it into being.
That's amazing. And I think it's important to mention as well that if you get pulled in a certain direction strongly, that you don't have to even, like, I don't worry if, is this the perfect direction? Is this the perfect choice? I don't really worry too much about the future. So as long as that pull is strong now, I know
Right.
I might have to go, and I probably will have to go in a slightly different direction later, or a big
Right.
different direction later. And just trusting that, I think, is crucial. So not having
It's
to make
huge.
the perfect decision.
Yeah, and I think that's been huge for me. I've had to allow myself to let go of, like, that's the vague goal that I want to do, or I feel pulled towards something and I'm not quite sure what it is, but I'm going
Yeah.
to keep showing up every day and allowing it to be, for me, I expect it to be a little bit of a circuitous route, because
Yeah.
I think linear growth, in anything towards any goal is usually, nothing ever goes as planned.
Yeah.
And if we set ourselves up to expect that it's not going to go as planned, that it's going to be this circuitous journey that we get to enjoy on the way, then, it allows more of it to actually come into being than we're set on a plan. It has to be this linear growth. And if not, then we're disappointed, and then
Yeah.
changes the energy. So
Yeah,
how
you're
we
right.
build
That like
yeah,
attachment to the outcome, we have to be super, super careful of that. So yeah, like I always feel like it's amazing to have the goal and even the big dream, right? Like it just creates the energy, but it's almost from the purpose of creating the energy in the now,
yeah,
rather than me being tied to actually achieving that thing in the future at all. I'm just trying to hype up the energy now so that I can actually take action. Right? But
yeah,
I don't care if I actually get the dream or goal in the end. Like
right.
I would love to, but like we're no less or more a person whether we get that future dream or not. But that's a
Mhm.
hard one to kind of deeply accept, and it takes
Yeah.
time to kind of build that in yourself, I think.
It takes a lot of time and a lot of practice, like consistent
Yeah,
practice to reframe things in your mind to remember, well, yeah, okay, it's the present moment that counts. And the more I'm attached to something being fixed as a future have to, you know,
yeah,
the more it just, that tends to mess everything up for me. So,
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Perfect. Oh, Jess, I think we nailed it.
I think we nailed it.
That was awesome. Yeah. Can you share your links to your stuff as well,
Yeah, absolutely.
please?
Everything is, I think I have on my little tagline there. Jessica Hughes Fine
Yeah.
Art is my handle for Instagram. That's my favorite place to be. I also have a Facebook page for my business. And then my website is the same thing, jessicahughesfineart.com.
Awesome. And you're a fireball.
Yes,
No,
absolutely. A fireball,
official fireball.
official fireball and growing.
Sweet.